Since the Supreme Court smacked down the Premier's taxpayer-funded lawsuit to sabotage climate solutions, it's been painful to watch the minister try to defend the indefensible in question period. Since day one, this government has attacked climate solutions and environmental protections. They cancelled Ontario's climate plan, cancelled conservation programs that were helping people and businesses save money by saving energy and reducing climate pollution, ripped EV charging stations literally out of the ground and ripped the EV chargers out of the building code, wasted $231 million cancelling green energy projects, many of them owned by Indigenous communities, wasted more tax dollars on stickers and threatened businesses with fines on gas stickers that didn't even stick, issued MZOs to pave over wetlands, attacked the ability of conservation authorities to clean our drinking water and protect us from flooding. They're fast-tracking the environmental assessment for a highway that will pave over 2,000 acres of farmland and 400 acres of the Greenbelt. And just today in committee, Speaker, government members voted to give the minister unprecedented power to rip up Ontario's planning laws and environmental protections. The very laws designed to protect people and communities, the farmland that grows our food, and the wetlands that clean our drinking water and protect us from flooding. Speaker, it's not surprising then that in the first year of the Ford government's mandate, it was the first time in over a decade that GHG emissions actually went up in Ontario. Speaker, Ontario is headed in the wrong direction. Climate pollution is going up when we urgently and rapidly need climate pollution to go down. Speaker, I want to quote from last week's Supreme Court decision, and I quote, "Climate change is an existential challenge. It is a threat of the highest order to the country, and indeed the world. The undisputed existence of a threat to the future of humanity cannot be ignored. The effects of climate change have been and will be particularly severe and devastating in Canada." End quote. Speaker, that quote's not from an environmental activist or a Green politician. It comes directly from the Supreme Court of Canada. And here in Ontario, climate pollution is going up. The Auditor General says that the government's made-to-fail climate plan will not meet Ontario's weak GHG reduction targets. Last week's budget contained no money to actually fund the central plank of the government's so-called climate fund, their emissions reduction fund. And now the government is planning to increase GHG emissions by 300% in the electricity sector by ramping up gas plants, reversing 40% of the GHG reductions from phasing out coal. The government continually cites Ontario's coal phase-out, saying that we've done our part in Ontario. Meanwhile, their electricity plans will reverse 40% of that phase-out. And Speaker, the minister responds to my questions and questions period, saying the government will spend a few $1 million to restore wetlands. Well, I can tell you, Speaker, the government's going to have to spend a heck of a lot more money if they keep paving over wetlands, which provide flood protection to us free of charge. The minister says we have to balance the economy and the environment. Well, Speaker, I agree. First, though, I want to say that the economic crisis we're facing from the COVID pandemic will pale in comparison to the economic hit from runaway global heating. I just want to tell you that economists and business leaders have put together an analysis saying that if we invest $5 billion in a green building program, it will leverage $80 billion in private sector capital, create over 800,000 jobs, reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 14 megatons a year, and save Ontarians $5 billion a year in energy costs. Speaker, we have solutions, fiscally responsible solutions, economically responsible solutions, and we owe it to our children and our grandchildren to leave them a livable planet. That's why we need climate action.